So for the past couple of days, I think now, you guys have been sending me message after message saying, Mike, you've covered Concord, please talk about Dustborn. And I'd seen rumblings of this game online. I'd been paying attention to the discourse on Twitter, and I saw that the numbers for this game were also extremely low. I think they're even lower than Concord. And so I went to check out the game, and I'm not surprised as to why they're so low. It's got horrible character designs. It looks very boring, very uninspired. And just generally, you know, it's the kind of game where I'm like, if they charged like £3 or $5 for it, I might be like, okay, this is worth that. But I believe it's a full price game. Even if it's not, it might just be better off being like the same price as a Freddo. I've seen a lot of people saying the game is rubbish, basically, it's crap, and of course I agree, at least in the aesthetic. I haven't played it yet, it looks very boring. But the people that designed the game have sent out a message regarding hatred. And this is what I want to talk about today. Now, I don't want this to come off like I'm trying to be insensitive towards people, but obviously I'm a voice on the internet as well. I've got a decent following, and sometimes I post up videos that people don't like. Like, for example, I put up a tier list yesterday of who I believe to be the cheesiest characters in the game. Whilst the video was mostly positively received, there was actually a fair few comments that were quite either negative or dismissive of what I was saying. Not disagreeing, because I have no issue with people disagreeing, that's all fine. But every now and then when I put these kinds of videos up, I'll get like an abusive message, or I even had some guy come into my stream once threatening me. And because I know that I'm putting myself on the internet, I know that I'm opening myself up to millions of people. Now in my case, I get like maybe thousands of comments or thousands of views. I don't get millions. But there could be a video one day that goes viral and it's seen by millions of people and it's seen by big streamers, and I say something they don't like and their fan bases come over to let me know what they think of me. The way I see it is what it is. This is the internet. In an ideal world, would it be great to go and be able to have conversations with people on the other side of the aisle without being cussed out or insulted? Sure. But that's just not how things work. This goes for people that are either arguing for Dustborn or against Dustborn. There are people that are going to be vicious in their rhetoric and what they say to you. But understanding that you're putting yourself on the internet should allow you to, rest with ease. That it's okay, let people say what they want to say. We don't live in an ideal world. People are going to say nasty things. They're going to make critiques about your game. But my problem with this discourse, and I'm going to read out some tweets to you guys, is I don't know if there's actual hatred coming the developers' way or people on Twitter's way, because I haven't seen any proof of this. I went on Twitter looking for proof, and I just got people saying this game's dog shit, and they're well within their right to do so. Now, I know it can be very, very disheartening, or it can be heartbreaking to work on a game for years and it be so poorly received that barely 40 people are playing it and it's just come out. I get that it can be that way, but you also have to understand that if you produce a game that nobody wants, then nobody's going to pay for it. And if you put the game out there and you charge a certain amount of money for it, people are well within their right to say, hey, we don't want this dog shit. That's not harassment. As far as I'm concerned, if you're bothered by harassment, if you're claiming that you're being harassed and you're making it like a vocal point of your tweets or your videos, you need to show receipts. And people calling your game garbage and rubbish and whatever is not harassment. The same way that, like I made the Tekken tier list, I've made Mortal Kombat videos where I'm saying I don't like the game, and there's some people that come in there to disagree with me and they say, hey Mike, you've got a shit take. I might not like some of the things they say, and so I will reply back to them. I have no problem responding back to people. I'm not here trying to be everybody's friend. I'm not here trying to pander to people. So if somebody says something that I don't like, I'll clap back at them. What I'm not going to do is A, censor my community, whether they are actively part of my community or they are people coming in to let me know what they think. And B, I'm not going to go online after making a video and start bitching that people are saying that they don't like my videos. I might not like particular comments. For example, I'll give you guys one thing that I hate. I've always replied back to these kinds of people, but I think I'm going to stop. I'll let them comment. I'll let the community deal with them. But whenever I post up an opinion, and I'll say something like, oh, I don't like this particular move on this character, or I think this move is too strong. 9 times out of 10, my tone is either very monotone or I'm very not low energy, but I'm not one of those, hey, welcome to YouTube guys. I'm just sort of talking to you like I would talk to my friends. And every now and then you'll get some grown man come into the comment section saying, so you're crying. As soon as I hear someone saying, so you're crying, I already want to be aggressive towards them. I already want to say something rude to them, because I'm like, what grown man sees me talking like this and says, why are you crying about this? The word crying, it does irritate me, because I'm just like, I've never heard people talk like that in person, and I hate it when people act like that online. They don't mirror themselves offline. But having said that, I wouldn't delete or censor these comments. They're well within their right to say it. Whether they are able to understand the English language properly or in third tone is up to them. But you people going online insulting gamers for having their opinion on your game are absolutely ridiculous. If you put something out to the world, you need to be prepared for whatever comes back. It's no good saying it should be like this, it should be like that. Why are people saying mean things about my game? Mind you, when people do critique these games, we get called talentless freaks, which is really funny. You're calling people talentless freaks, like the developer at Concord, when nobody's playing your game. So who's really the talentless freak? I mean, I can't create a game, but I'm the consumer. So if you put a game out and I don't like it, I'm going to let you know about it. How can you then reply back saying you're a talentless freak? If I said something like, your game's dog shit and you deserve to die, then I can understand you getting angry and being like, what kind of a remark is that? But I don't see people saying those things. I just see people saying your game's rubbish. Now, I'm going to start off by reading the message from Red Thread. I believe Red Thread Games are the people that made Dustborn. And they've said, to our community, all 40 people in our community, since we first announced Dustborn, we've read your comments and listened to your feedback, hopes and wishes for the game. It must be easy to listen to feedback when only 10 people are playing. Over the past 4 years, our team has poured their hearts into telling a story that's deeply meaningful to us. That might be your first problem. You should put out a story that is going to resonate with your audience, not just you. I mean, you've effectively put out a game that is deeply meaningful to you, and so I guess you guys are the only ones playing it now. A story about the power of words, about building a world where everyone can feel safe, about love, friendships and robots, of course. We expected Dustborn to spark conversation and debate and look forward to engaging with our players in a positive and constructive fashion. Unfortunately, that conversation has been drowned out by a tidal wave of hate and abuse. Post receipts. Post receipts. If you're not okay with people saying these things to you, like I said, I leave my comments open and I'll respond back. I ain't got a problem with arguing with people. But you guys are clearly not thick-skinned. You behave like wet blankets. You say that people are always abusing you. Post the receipts. Let's see the receipts. And the thing is, I'm not even acting like there are not really nasty people out there, because like I said, I make videos about Tekken and Mortal Kombat, and every now and then I'll get an insane message come through on my Instagram or on my Twitter, and I don't post them up, because I don't care. I know most people online, they just give it all this talk. Of course, someone's not going to walk up to you and punch you up in person because you said that you don't like their favorite fighting game, or you critique their game. So when I see these comments, I just laugh at them. I had one guy telling me that when I see you at London Comic Con, Mike, watch what's going to happen. I read it and I was like, what, because I insulted Mortal Kombat? You being fucking serious? Now, obviously, I went to London Comic Con. I was not bothered. I had people come up to me being very pleasant, because people in person are usually pleasant. This is what I don't understand about these people at Red Thread and these developers and these people complaining. Sorry I'm making this long, but I'm going to get back to what they're saying. We all know that people online, there's an abundance of keyboard warriors. Sometimes people will not even expect a response from you. Now, in my videos, people know now that they're going to get a response from me. It's part of the fun, talking to people whether they agree or disagree with you. So they've come to expect responses from me. That's why I think some people intentionally say things to try and wind me up sometimes. But even if they didn't, sometimes I'll respond back to somebody and they'll go, oh, I didn't expect a response. Oh, I was just joking. Because most of the time, people online are not being dead serious. They're behind the keyboard. They're talking shit. Most of us have done it. I've done it. But you get so offended by this tidal wave of hate. Please post receipts. If you're going to make such overarching statements like that, like it's just nothing but people sending you threats and harassment, show us. I want to see it. I think everybody would want to see it, because we hear this from you guys over and over. Every time someone criticizes your game, instead of just being like, you know, we put our heart and soul into this and we really thought we were telling a story that everybody was going to like, but apparently not. We'll try again next time. I could respect that. If the Dustborn developers came out and said that, if the Star Wars developers came out and said that, if Concord developers came out and said, hey, we thought these character designs, they were going to hit, but they didn't, and we're sorry, and we'll try better next time if Sony affords us that opportunity, which I highly doubt. Then I'd be like, do you know what? They've clearly heard the reactions of the people. The people don't like what you tried to sell them. They've taken that on board. It is what it is. There's nothing wrong with saying sorry or admitting that I'm wrong. I've said it 100 times here before. I got the information on Yasuke wrong. Now, I had people saying, oh, you look stupid now, Mike, but I don't care because I don't mind being wrong. I understand that when I open my mouth on the internet, I'm not going to get every single thing right. Even the video I uploaded yesterday about the Tekken 8 cheesy characters, I'm sure if I go back and evaluate things, and I've read over people's comments about martial law and whatever, and I did consider them, and it's okay to say, maybe I overlooked a couple of things. Nothing wrong with saying sorry or admitting when you've done something wrong. And so when I made the remarks about Yasuke, when I got it wrong initially, I said I was sorry and I corrected myself. I didn't worry about the people saying, ha ha ha, look, blah, 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 because these people are not putting themselves online, so they don't understand that there's going to be hundreds of people waiting to point the finger at you. But you just need to understand that when you open yourself up to millions of people, whether that be by a tweet or a video game you're releasing, you need to be willing to accept that the voices are going to come your way, whether they are good, bad, ugly, or whatever. That's just the way it is. So just grow fucking thick skin, man. Like, what is wrong with you people? I'm assuming you're adults. You must be adults to be making these games. How have you lived on this planet for 30 plus years and you don't understand how to navigate the internet? I mean, seriously. We welcome thoughtful feedback and respectful criticism. We embrace discussion and debate. We have zero tolerance for hate speech, harassment, and threats of any kind. What is hate speech exactly? What is that? It gets thrown around all the time and everybody seems to have different definitions of it. Now, if somebody is inciting hatred and violence against you, by all means, post it up, because I think that's even illegal. I don't think you're literally allowed to incite violence against people. But if people are saying, hey, you can't make good games, your game sucks. Hey, it might be mean, but they're allowed to say that. And then if you were somebody with thick skin, I've got this thing in my back, it's called a spine. If you had one of those, you would say to that person, can you explain to me what we could have done better here? Because you're talking to the consumer, right? You're trying to sell your product to them. Now, sometimes when I'm recording the video, I'll say, this character is no good. And then somebody will come into my comment section. I will say this character is decent when they're really, really powerful to some people. And someone will come into my comment section saying, are you stupid? Blah, 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 blah. And depending on how they've worded it, like if there's actually some substance there, I'll say to them, okay, can you explain where I went wrong? And can you explain to me what your points are? I'd actually like to hear them. Now, in the comment section, sometimes it comes across sarcastic, but I'm still asking the question. I want to know where they're coming from. And sometimes it opens up a conversation where it's like, okay, we can agree to disagree, but there was some sort of discourse here. But what you guys do, which I'm about to show in a minute, is that you censor the conversation when people call you out on stuff. And when you censor people, they are going to come back twice as hard to get their message across. They're going to let you know how they feel. That is why I tell other YouTubers that reach out to me and they're asking me about my comment section, why do you talk to everybody so much, Michael? Why are you always in the comment section? Why don't you delete hateful comments? There is no point in deleting hateful comments. I've been on the internet for too long to understand that censoring people has the opposite effect. First of all, it just makes you look like a pussy, if I'm being completely honest. And secondly, if that person's really a troll, they're just going to create another account and do it anyway. So you might as well engage them there, shut them down with better points, and if they've got a better point than you, just be like, hey, you got me, fair enough. Those who engage in such behavior will be removed from our community. Good luck with that. There is no community anyway. Like, how many people are playing this game right now? What, 39? To everyone else, thank you for coming on this journey with us. Your support means everything, and your constructive feedback continues to push us to learn and evolve. Together, let's continue building a world where everyone can feel valued and empowered to share their stories. So that's the response that they've put out. Now, I went on to look at what's going on here. Now, this tweet has 8.9 million views. 8.9 million views. That's obviously gone viral. And it's weird because apparently this game did not sell very well at all. The games that are being critiqued like it didn't sell very well at all. I believe Concord, they've come out today saying it sold roughly 25,000 copies. I'm willing to bet by the player count, 20,000 of those have been refunded, and the remaining 4,500, they've forgotten that they even own the game, and then there's the remaining 500 that are playing it here and there. But 8.9 million is insane. But if you take a look there, I can't reply to this thread. So they've censored any feedback. They've put a message out to reach out to people, but they've not allowed feedback. And the thing is that these kinds of people will dismiss the fact that you're trying to have an open dialogue with them, to tell them, hey, I'm not a white guy. I know you love to say, oh, it's white guys, it's white people doing this. I'm not a white guy, and I have a problem with your character designs. I don't like them very much. Listen to what I have to say. They don't want to hear it. It's my way or the highway as far as these people are concerned. I even screen recorded, and I as you can see here, I clicked on see conversation. You can't see the conversation. They have chosen who can respond to them. And so how are they ever going to learn from their mistakes? How are they ever going to understand that this is not what gamers want? As a matter of fact, it doesn't take a fucking Albert Einstein to realize what you need to do here. Go and look at the games that people are excited for. The other day we were talking about female leads in games, right? And people saying, oh, if it's not a white male or like a typical bruiser type of guy, people don't want to play the game. And yet yesterday I went online, I saw this game called Wu Chang. I think it's another Chinese game. It looks fucking awesome. I can't wait to play it. It looks like the female Wukong. I don't know if there's some sort of relation there, the name Wu Chang, but she looks sick. I can't wait to play it. Again, no one is going to be against having female characters in the game. When you release a game like this and it's got a female lead that people don't like, they don't want to listen to the discourse, and then they call you some sort of ist. So I'm going to read some tweets here that I found on Twitter. Now, the first one comes from Black Girl Gamers. This is a Twitter page called Black Girl Gamers, and they said, sending support to the team. If you don't like a game, that's fine, but abuse, hate speech is never okay. Learn how to critique properly. Again, I want to see this abuse that you are talking about. I want to see it. And even if it did exist, why are you focusing on that? I know that there is an abundance of gamers that are very happy to give you critical feedback. I would give you feedback. I've just looked at the game and I've already said I'm turned off by it. And I can tell you why I'm turned off by it if you had a channel to reach out to where people can actually talk to you. Do you know how much people would respect and appreciate if developers like you guys actually open up discourse? You're going to get people coming into the chat to troll you. It always happens. Happens to me, and I'm on a much smaller scale. But if you open discourse and you show that you have a spine and you don't let these silly comments on the internet bother you, because words can't hurt you like that. They're just words on the internet. It doesn't mean anything. Once you turn the computer off or you shut your phone down, you go back to your family. Open up discourse so people can talk to you. And the trolls will get bored and they'll go to someone else where they can get a reaction. Trolls go where they can get a reaction, and you're giving them the reaction that they want, if there are any. I'm under the impression, I'm willing to bet that people just want to say to you, hey, we don't like this, this is what you should do next time. We are the consumer at the end of the day. Now, you can create a story that you feel is impactful and worth opening up debate and discourse, but it doesn't matter if you feel it. You need to make a story that is going to resonate with the population, with whoever you're pushing the game out to. Otherwise, you might as well make the game and then sell it to yourself. You know, like, we are the audience here. And the thing is that you might say, Mike, you're not the target audience for a game like that, clearly. Where is the target audience? Where are they? I think I've got a screenshot here of how many people are playing the game. Give me 2 seconds. There we are. Playing 35 minutes ago, 25 people. 25. 43. 24-hour peak. 76 players all time. That is shambolic. I get more people watching me talk shit on my stream than this game gets people playing it. So I think you should probably open up a channel to let people speak to you and let you know, because you clearly don't know how to make a game that people like. You've got Khalif here. This guy, I really think he's disingenuous, but he goes, kudos to the team for standing up for their game, continuing to build the community they want. We must drown out the hate together as an industry. Listen, if you drown out anything else from this game, there's going to be nothing left. What did I just say? How many people were playing it? 25. You really want to drown anything else out at this point? Do you really want to go onto Steam and see 0? That must be heartbreaking. Just listen to people. Just listen to them. Understand why maybe I'm excited for Wu Chang, why I'm excited for Sparking Zero, why I love Wukong, why I play Tekken all the time. You know, listen to people. Understand why certain character designs appeal to people. It's fantasy at the end of the day. When people see fantastical characters, they're like, oh, I want to play that character. When I saw Wu Chang, I was like, whoa, I want to use her. When I saw Wukong, I was like, sign me the fuck up. I'm all the way in. When I see Dragon Ball games, I'm like, yeah, I want to be Majin Vegeta. But when I see your game, I'm like, who is this for? And who is this for is a valid take, considering no one's playing it. So who is it for? You tell me. You got No Stefaratu here saying the whole industry needs to be zero tolerance like this, or we won't ever get rid of this hateful shit. And I mean, the big boys need to play too. Khalif says this 1000%. No Stefaratu says some let it slide far too easily. Cough Steam, cough COD, cough Sony. My personal utopia is we all work together to stamp this shit out. Make it known that gamer culture isn't this hateful shite. We just all need to be connected. What I really want to know what they mean by this. I would love to speak to you guys. I really would love to speak to you. And I'd love to see receipts. I'd love to see, and not screenshot. I don't want to see screenshot because I know that some of you are bullshit. I want to go onto Twitter and in real time scroll down with you guys and see what is going on, see the discourse, because every time I go on Twitter and I scour these people's pages and I'll look through people's pages that they're saying are hateful, I'm just seeing people critiquing it. You might not like the critique. You might think, why are they not giving my game a chance? But someone critiquing your game and saying it's dog shit. Dog shit's a critique. It might be a bit of a harsh one. It might be pretty baseline and it might lack in nuance, but it's a critique. It's starting somewhere. Why are you calling my game dog shit? Why don't you ask that? I really want to see this harassment and abuse that you keep on saying that gamers are sending your way. And I want to see how much of it is being sent your way versus how many people are just trying to reach out and critique your game. Because if there's 10 people that are sending you abuse, but there's 100 people that are sending you critiques of your game and you're focusing on the 10, you're an idiot. And you're trying to change the narrative. You're trying to get people to focus on something that doesn't matter. Like I said, you go into my comments section, my comments will range anywhere from 200 to like 500. And I'll read through most of them, any ones that pop up. Sometimes I miss some. And yeah, sometimes I get abusive comments, but the overwhelming majority of people is either disagreements or them saying, oh yeah, I enjoyed the video, or they'll say something that's not abusive, but that I don't like. And I'll talk to that person, say, I don't like what you said here. But I'll talk to them. I'll tell them where I'm coming from. So this is, again, this is as far as I'm concerned, until you prove it, it's bullshit. Khalees says, that's the part right there. We need to all do this together. Make games for the players and communities we want and tell the rest. If you can't be chill, we won't cater to you. We won't cater to who? Who are you catering to? Who? What? 25 people? 74 all-time peak. Who are you catering to exactly? And these are the kinds of people that would say people like me or people like you watching or just people that have some sort of criticism of the game are right-wing. And so I would say to them, do you think all people are right-wing? Do you think all people are hateful bigots? Do you think all people are spewing bullshit online? Do you think the small number of people that are playing your game, the 25 people that are playing this game, they're all just the left-wing people? You don't think majority of left-wing people look at this game and go, that looks like dog shit? Is that what you think? She says, precisely, it needs to be a universal effort or it won't work. People come to my communities from others and expect to get away with murder. Get away with murder. Oh, God. Then I'm the bad guy for censoring them. Nope, you're the worst, so bye. Make as many YouTube videos about me as you want. Man, it sucks. Honestly, man. Like, I'll never understand. But again, get away with murder. What were they saying to you? Honestly, I'm not even saying that to like be hyperbolic or anything. I would really love to know what the hell you're going on about. Because even when I get abusive comments, then getting away with murder, I think you're overreacting a bit. And again, just so you guys can see there, I took this screenshot at 11:14 in the morning. I don't know what time I'm putting this video up because I'm heading off to the gym. But at 11:14 in the morning in the UK, that is what the Steam chart showed, which is shambolic by every metric. You've got Ashley Lynch here saying, I believe this can be done, but it means regular statements like this. It means publishers stop turning a blind eye and hoping it goes away on its own. It means getting out in front of it and drawing a line of acceptable behavior. Khalees says, and sadly this falls on community and social managers to squash. This can be done if the companies they work for stand by them and support them through this BS storms. And you gotta pay those folks well. Let me tell you what's gonna happen here. Okay, now you might take what I'm saying as hateful. I don't know. I don't know how much of a wet blanket you are. What's going to happen is the companies are going to look at you idiots complaining online saying, oh, we're being abused, blah, 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 and showing no proof. And then they're going to look at the lack of sales. I'm sure Sony is listening to what's going on online right now and they're seeing how poor Concord has done. And they're like, we need to stop listening to these people. They are not the vocal majority. They are just a vocal minority. They make a lot of noise, don't get me wrong. They're very good at drumming up traction. Very, very good at it. But clearly, there is no player base for these kinds of games. If there was, I would hold my hands up and say, guys, like I've said 100 times, we don't like these games, but there is a base of people that do. We just have to hold the L. These are the games that are currently dominating the industry, but they are not. So you can say we can drown this out, whatever that might be. You can say that community managers need to do their jobs. And I would say, go ahead. Go ahead. Destroy what you have got left anyway. There isn't much there. But go ahead and destroy it. Black Girl Gamer says, note to that, people who experience harassment, doxing, slander, death threats, libel and abuse this shit apparently just need thicker skin. No, you do. You do. That's not me saying that you should be doxxed. You shouldn't. Doxing is terrible. It's not me saying you should be harassed. You shouldn't be harassed for making a shit game. I can tell you that you're making a shit game and that maybe you're a shit developer. That's not harassment. It's harsh, but it's not harassment. You should definitely not be sent death threats, because people that do that are unhinged. And you shouldn't be abused, whether that's physical or mental. But then it really depends on what you deem as abuse. If you think me calling your game a shit equates to abuse, then we fundamentally disagree on the parameters of that word. However, like I said, you put yourself online, and the reality is that some people out there are crazy. Okay? I cannot like your game. I know people in the industry. I know people personally in the industry that make games that I would not spend a dime on. Not a dime, but I'm not rude to these people. They'll ask me, what do you think of my game? I'm always honest. I'm like, bro, well done, but it ain't for me. It is what it is. Now, because I know them, I'm not going to say to them, hey, bro, your game is dog shit. Because there's a connection there. However, if you put your products out there, there are going to be some people that are more vitriolic about it. They're like, hey, we don't like this bullshit. You keep on trying to feed us the message. You keep making these character designs we don't like. You keep on making everything about race, about gender. We don't like it. And then some people are going to ramp it up to the next level, and they're going to send you abuse. The reality of the situation is that if I walk out my house now and I stand in the middle of the road in camouflage, I'm going to get hit by something. If I walk onto the motorway, traffic's going to hit me. If I go to a dangerous neighborhood in London, I might get in trouble. If I do something that is so obvious and then the obvious happens, is anybody going to be surprised? When you put videos and games online, you are opening yourself up to millions of voices. Now you can say, in my utopia or my ideal world, I want things to operate like this, but you don't live in that world, okay? You can't put on the Ready Player One headset and go into that world. You live in this world. So why don't you learn to navigate this world? This is why it's the same reason that I'll tell my sister-in-laws, right? They're two of my best friends. I'm very, very close to them. And I'll tell them whenever they go outside, please be careful. Why am I telling them to be careful? Because we live in a dangerous area. London is dangerous in general. Specifically, the areas around here are dangerous. Now, in an ideal world, should a woman have to walk down the road and worry about her safety? And my sister-in-laws dress very modestly before anyone says anything. No, they shouldn't. Women should not have to deal with that. But the reality of the situation is that there are creepy people out there. There are abusive, violent people. And you can say to me, oh, Mike, why don't you talk to your gender? I don't hang around with ists or, violent attackers or whatever. I don't know these people. And if someone wakes up in the morning and wants to abuse a woman, do you think anything I say to them is going to get through to them? Honestly, think about this realistically. People that want to do harm to others or want to say nasty things on the internet or actually act out on these things, do you think someone like me is going to get through to them? I can sit on here and say, guys, let's not be crazy about this, but crazy people don't think rationally. So just understand the world you live in. I understand where I live. That's why I drive everywhere. I don't go walking around my area. I'm not looking for smoke. I don't want the smoke. I want to come home, play my games in peace, and go to the gym. If I walk around an area, it's in the countryside, it's somewhere well away from London, or it's in central London where there's loads of people and people are less likely to put chloroform over your face and drag you behind an alleyway. You need to understand where you are. Now, on the internet, as I said, if you put a tweet up, sure, you can protect your tweets like a fucking wet blanket. But at the end of the day, if you're a developer and you're trying to get feedback, how are we supposed to give you feedback? How are we supposed to give you constructive criticism if you protect your tweets? How? And then you block people when they say things you don't like. Black Girl Gamers also said this is disgusting. Something had to be done about the rampant and abusive culture that's happening. It can't be swept under the rug. The team was super sweet when we met them. I'm sure they're nice people. I meet people all the time at gaming conventions, anime conventions that make games and produce pieces of artwork that I would not be caught dead buying. But they're nice people. They produce a style of work that I don't like. That's not for me. You can see from what's in my bedroom. I've got a Street Fighter 2 arcade cabinet. I've got the classic X-Men, Justice League and Avengers style posters. I've got JoJo's figurines back there, One Piece. I like stereotypically masculine things. Those are things for me. I've got the World Heavyweight Championship over there. I've got the UFC Championship down here. I like those sort of things. So I'm not going to attack people because they produce things that I don't like. But at the same time, you need to understand that when you put these games online, as I've said, people are going to let you know about it. Now, I just don't believe you when you're talking about tidal wave of hate and abuse. Ron Ronson, I don't know who Ron Ronson is, but he replies saying, do you have some sort of final solution in mind to deal with the criticizers? Black Girl Gamer says, not sure if this is meant as a gotcha, but in short, gaming needs a culture shift. Criticizing isn't the issue, it's the justification of abuse and online harassment under the guise of critique. There isn't a one-step solution, but there's a lot of literature out there that suggests the steps. Check out the works of Kishona Gray. You're welcome to also watch our online summit content on YouTube that discusses it. I'm actually going to watch that. I might do a reaction to that. I want to see what they have to say. Ron Ronson says, where's the evidence? I'm strongly suspecting that the abuse and harassment you are seeing is just people being jerks and saying your game is crap. That is neither abuse or harassment though, but some people seem to twist words to be bigger victims than they are. But let's do a comparison. That Grums guy had 3 people say they'd pay 10 people or more thousands of dollars for someone to assassinate him. Is that harassment? Is that the kind of harassment Red Thread is getting? Now that's true. Like I've seen especially Grums and Mighty Keith, they are constantly going back and forth at each other, and sometimes I'll see what's going on, and I've never seen Mighty Keith like threaten Grums' life. I've never seen that. They just seem to fight. But there are some people that see the argument, and I've seen them send death threats to both. And those people are crazy. They're absolutely insane. To see people arguing online, because Grums obviously represents one side of the aisle, and Mighty Keith is representing the other side of the aisle. And it doesn't matter who you agree or disagree with. To want to threaten their lives is insane. But I've actually seen those things happen. They are chronicled and they are archived on Twitter. If that's what these Black Girl Gamers or Red Thread games are getting, please show us. Show us how many, and then show us how many people are just sending you critiques. I want to weigh up what's going on here, because if one person sends you a threat and 100 people send you critiques, then you are crying over nothing. If you feel like it's a real threat, you need to let the police know. Let the police know if it's a real threat. And then Black Girl Gamers in their infinite wisdom reply saying, so you agree there is a culture of harassment and abuse in gaming? Ron Ronson says, no, there is not a culture of harassment. This is called the internet. There are insane people on the internet. These people complaining about a culture of harassment need thicker skin and need to stop calling insults harassment, which seemingly is what is happening here. That's exactly what I said. I need to see what they're talking about to get an understanding. Nick says, no, this isn't on victims of harassment to change and get tougher. You need to grow the fuck up and learn how to treat people like they're people. You're not educating someone on the real world, and you're not just asking questions, you're being an arsehole, and for what? Grow up. Ron Ronson says, how do you know they are victims of harassment? It's a fair thing to say. I disagree with Nick completely. Like I said, if you attribute this to the real world, in the real world, the area that I'm in is dangerous. I can scream to the high heavens, please don't shoot me when I go outside, please don't stab me, please don't throw acid at me, please don't do all these heinous things to me, please don't rob my car, please don't do X, Y, and Z. These people are not going to learn, so it's on me to be smart. It's on me to maybe choose a gym that is not in this area. It's on me to park my car in maybe a safer spot, or have a garage to park it in, or put an immobilizer on my car. It's on me to not walk around at night time. Yeah, it would make my journey from the train station much quicker to just walk through the park. But that park is extremely dangerous, so I don't do it. You can say, oh, it's not on the victim. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. And the thing is, if I'm being completely open with you guys, as I've grown up in this area, there has been times where me and my boys have been jumped. And we've had to deal with that. And over the years, over being jumped by people much older than us and having things taken from us, and coming very, very close to having serious situations happen. I don't know if you guys can see the scar on my nose, but I've had situations happen to me, and over that time, I've learned to not do certain things, and I've told other people, because I'm the eldest in my family, don't make the mistakes I made, don't walk down that road, don't go down there. Oh, but people shouldn't do that to me. It doesn't matter what you think. This is the reality of the situation. So no, Nick is wrong. You need to understand where you are, you need to understand what you're doing and how to navigate it. Yes, you should grow thicker skin. Of course, people shouldn't be doing disgusting things to others, but this is the real world. So open your eyes and stop being a baby about it. Nick says, be serious. And then Lovelace says, this is too white. What the fuck does that mean? Lovelace says, cut the shit. White people, especially the males, make spaces just the way you describe both online and in real life. Then have the nerve to ask for proof of hostility when the caveat is that there's no proof that is sufficient enough for your kind. For your kind, Jesus Christ. You literally all sound the same. Ron Ronson says, stop being a garbage racist. Just stop it. Life will be a lot less awful when you aren't the one that's awful. What Lovelace has just said there is, You could interpret that as being very vitriolic or borderline racist towards white people. That's a bit of a deflection for me. Even if Ron Ronson did not accept what you're posting as harassment, post it anyway. We want to see it. Post it anyway. I want to see this harassment that you're talking about. It doesn't matter if I agree with you or not. I just want to see if there's something there. That's what everybody wants to see. Post it up. And as I said, don't just post up the maybe 20 screenshots you've got of harassment. Also take screenshots or let us see the comment sections of people just saying, hey, your game's crap, versus people saying, hey, I want to kill you. I want to see it because I think you're all full of shit. I think you are all full of shit. And yes, that thing in your back that most people have, please check if you've got one, because this is some nonsense. Black Girl Gamer says, how many people claim BGG received just criticism just because they can't see the actual abuse that happens? There's a willful ignorance to disbelieve people when they say they receive abuse. It's often denounced as criticism when the two are very different. If you don't like a game, that's fine, but what's the purpose of going further and directing hate, not criticism, towards a team? And how many devs have to say they experience this without having to prove the evidence? It's a culture at this point. Do you know what would fix this? If you just proved it. If it's on the internet, it lives there forever, right? When someone says something, just take a screenshot. It doesn't matter if they delete it. As a matter of fact, on Twitter's so slow with it that when people delete things, if you go back and then press on it, it shows up for a split second. And I've screenshotted things like that before. When someone says something snarky towards me and then they delete it, and you can still see it. At least on the Android, if you go back and then go forward, you can see it for a split second. You just press the screenshot button, or you get your screen record button ready, and then you screen record it, and then you screenshot that. Show people proof, because as far as we're concerned, every single time developers receive messages of criticism about games that they put out that are dog shit, they say it's abuse. Now, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you are getting some terrible abuse. Show us. Like I said, show us the abuse and then show us the criticism. Show us everything so that we can take a look at it and we can make a decision for ourselves. And we may not agree, but at least you provided some receipts. Until then, stop your bitching and whining and create a game that people actually want to play. And do you know what? Maybe don't create a game that people want to play and continue to tank your studios and continue to cost Sony millions or Microsoft millions or whoever it is that decide to fund you for whatever Galaxy Brain had the idea of funding you guys, even after you produced dog shit after dog shit. Now, this Black Girl Gamers, apparently they have a YouTube page where they talk about these things. I am going to be checking that out because I'm very interested to hear what they have to say. But as far as I'm concerned, this is all a bunch of cap, and it's reflected in the sales. So, as a matter of fact, I would like to... You said that like you understand the distinction between criticism and hate. What kind of criticism have you received of this game? I'd like to know if you do happen to see this video. But if not, if you're somebody that is playing Dustborn or Concord, can you distinguish the two between hate speech and valid criticisms? Let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, take care, have a good day, and peace.